All right, here we go. Review of and tutorial of the CineTreak Stream1 Multicam switcher. Make your broadcast into next level. Let's see whether we can actually do that. And I think there's a good chance because this thing is a workhorse and very capable. It's going to be a long video, a one take, because I'm basically simulating a live streaming scenario. Still, there's method to the madness. 4 parts I would differentiate. Number 1, check out all this gear. There's a whole lot of stuff that I've set up. Much more than you would need to do a regular multicam recording or multicam live stream. But that's because obviously I want to be able to show you as many features of the Stream1 as possible. So I basically hooked up everything that I could find. And so part 1 is going to be an overview of all the working parts and how they're connected. Part number 2 is going to be the physical interface, including the inputs. Then part number 3 is going to be a deep dive into the functionality of the Stream1. So we'll check out how to do everything this thing can do. Again, chapter marks are your best friends. Find them in the player, find them in the video description. If you're interested in a specific topic, definitely check that out beforehand. Now, 2 things I have to mention, 3 things. Number 1, if you're looking for a device that has SDI inputs, this one isn't it. This only has HDMI. Number 2, if you're looking for a device that does ISO recordings, so isolated recordings of the individual video sources, this doesn't do that. And number 3, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you're looking for a demonstration of PTZ camera control, which the Stream1 offers, unfortunately I can't do that because, and I want to bite my ass, which is a German way of saying it, because I've already sold my, what was it called, Obsport Tail Air, a super tiny, super capable PTZ camera, which would have been perfect for demonstration purposes in combination with the Stream1. So if you're looking for PTZ camera control tutorial or demonstration, this video doesn't have that, I'm afraid. Outside of this, I'm going to show you a whole lot of stuff that you can do with the Stream1. It's fantastically capable, very configurable, and overall does basically everything you would need a device like this to do. All right. Let's jump right into part number 1. All the stuff that's set up right here. So centerpiece, obviously the Stream1 from CineTreak. Then maybe let's start with the cameras. A-cam, the shot you're looking at right now, that's an FX6. By the way, total Sony fanboy. Everything is Sony as far as cameras are concerned. A-shot, FX6. Top-down shot, which is the B shot, an FX3. And the C-cam, which gives us the shot of the inputs on the back, that's another FX3. Then part number 4 that I forgot to mention earlier. This is input number 4, my laptop. Why do I need a laptop? Because in part number 4, after part number 3, after we're doing a deep dive into the functionality and the capability of the Stream1, I want to quickly show you how to set it up as a webcam and how to set it up in OBS, Open Broadcast System. So you're ready to stream on the platform of your choice with multicam support. So that's going to be part 4. That's why I have the laptop as input number 4. So cameras 1, 2, and 3 plus the laptop. Then there's more displays. This is a big 15-inch display, and I'm sending the multi-view out of the Stream1 into that display for monitoring. That's another thing. This is super portable and pretty much as compact as it gets, which also means this doesn't have a display built in. There are other systems that have like up to 10-inch displays built in. Obviously, they're much larger. With this one, you will need an external monitor, an external display for monitoring. In my case, this is a 15-inch production monitor from OSI right here, and I'm watching the multi-view. Then there's another monitor, this 7-inch over here, and this one is used to record the multi-view. And I jumped through a little hoop to be able to do this. I'm using a 4K HDMI splitter, which really is a doubler. And I'm doubling the multi-view out. So multi-view out over the auxiliary HDMI out of the Stream1 into the splitter. The splitter doubles that signal, sends one signal from me to monitor to my big 15-inch and one signal to my little 7-inch monitor to record the multi-view at all times. Why do I record the multi-view? Because this is a tutorial. So this whole setup with the splitter is something you wouldn't need most of the time. Unless you were to split the signal to monitor where you are and maybe to monitor for Video Village where the client is. That might be a scenario where such a splitter can come in handy. I'm using it because I want to continuously record the multi-view out, because the multi-view out is the only view that also has the menu that I want to show you how to navigate. And in general, I want to go through the menu with you in part number 3, the deep dive of the functionalities of the Stream1. So that's why I continuously record the multi-stream on that monitor, which is also a recorder. Then I have another tiny monitor right here, which is really, well, overkill, but this one is connected to the regular program out of the Stream1 and just records the feed with all the transitions that I'm going to do. Then there is for camera control, my iPad right here that runs the monitor and control app. Why does it need to be an iPad? Because only iOS offers the multicam recording. I only have 2 feeds right here because my C-cam, this FX3, I need to get it repaired. It just won't connect. So there's something funky going on right there. But this is usually where I control my cameras from in such a situation, because I can start and stop the recording simultaneously for all of the cameras. And I can do it wirelessly. I don't have to reach up there to the one that's rigged up top. So this is the iPad that I'm using for this. Also something you wouldn't necessarily need. It's just a matter of convenience. And, well, it's good for when you're a lone gunman and you have to operate a live stream like this or a multicam recording, to have everything in reach, so you don't need to reach the cameras or reach somewhere, so basically you can stay put where you are and stay in control of the live stream. So this does come in handy, but it's by no means a necessity for you. And I think this concludes, no, it doesn't, media. I've also hooked up media. There's an SD card slot on the Stream1 itself. The Stream1 also has the ability to import or source media from the SD card or a hard drive you've connected. And it also has internal storage space. Now, I have an SD card that I'm currently recording this to, and also have hooked up via USB a SanDisk SSD right here that I can also source images or media from. Then audio, I'm using 3 different types of audio sources, 4 to be exact, just to show you different ways of operating audio. Again, you would just need one good audio source. I'm using for my A-cam a shotgun mic that's placed right outside on top of the upper frame. That's a shotgun mic, it's a 416 going into the Mix Pre 3.2, which then goes into the FX6, which then sends the audio with its video over HDMI into input number 1. Then audio source number 2 is just the internal microphone of the FX3, that's the B shot, so it's the worst possible audio. You're gonna have a chance to listen to that in a moment. Then mic number 3 is this little Holyland wireless mic that transmits to the receiver that is hooked up to the second FX3 right here. That gives us the shot of the inputs. And again, HDMI carries audio. The audio travels over HDMI into input number 3 right here. And then we got this little mic right here. It's an on-camera shotgun mic that I'm using as a desktop mic, which is unusual, but I had it laying around. It's another way to hook up audio to the Stream1, not over a camera source in HDMI, but directly into it. So this is the reason I'm using that contraption right here. Then, last but not least, and I think that concludes the overview, headphones to monitor audio. Super useful, super important, because good audio is key, much more than people think. You can get away with so-so video quality, but always make sure audio is of the highest quality possible. All right, that concludes the overview. Now, let's dive into part number two. And let's dive into part number two. I'm gonna have to talk a lot, so let's dive into part number two and check out the interface, the physical interface. Lots of buttons. And we're gonna start right here, on-off button. And if you press hold, you can also lock all the buttons, which is something not every unit has, every type of multi-viewer and multicam recorder has. I think it's super useful because if you're running a stream or a multicam recording that basically stays set all the way throughout, why would you not reduce the possibility of something going wrong by you accidentally pushing a button? Just lock that down and be cool. So appreciate that they have this option. Below that, the multi-view button right here, MV. Now, all of the outputs are super versatile and highly configurable. So there's a standard program out that just outputs the basic program feed over HDMI, and then the auxiliary HDMI out by default outputs the multi-view that, as you might remember, I've split into two. Now you can still switch via this button between another program out and the regular multi-view out. So if you need a lot of program outs, you don't really need the multi-view out, you can set via this button that the auxiliary HDMI also outputs a program feed instead of a multi-view. Then let's come right over here, audio mix. I'm going to show you how to maneuver audio setups and mixes and individual mics later. Just to do the overview right now, channels 1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond to the HDMI inputs. Mics number 1 and 2 correspond to the inputs on the backside that I'm going to show you in a moment. Auxiliary corresponds to videos that you load that also have an audio track. And program out is master audio. So basically downstream, everything that gets mixed and your viewers and listeners hear, you can basically configure right here. But if you turn this off, no matter what you do with the other ones, your listeners and viewers are not going to hear any audio. So be careful with that. For each of the 8 audio sources, you can up the volume, lower the volume, turn them on or off, or select or activate, I should say, audio follows video for these audio inputs. Then over here, media, obviously starting and stopping recording. I'm recording to the SD card, so this is red. Starting and stopping the stream. Play, pause a video. And if you have multiple videos imported, you can select the videos or skip through the videos, not skip through, but select the videos via these 2 buttons right here. Then let's continue with this, the effects panel. Well, it's really the transition panel, and it offers you to do or to choose between 3 of the most common transitions, which is a mix, which is just a crossfade or cross dissolve, I should say, wipe, and a color dip, a dip to color. Then you can select 0.5 seconds or 1 second as the duration, or something custom that you've set up in the menu. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of transitions that you can choose from. This just gives you the option to manually select between the 3 most common ones. How to set those up in the menu, I'm going to show you in part number 3. Then maybe let's come over here, since we're already dealing with transitions. This is called a T-bar, which you can use to manually transition. I'm going back to mix, which you can use to manually transition in between shots. Now this obviously gives you full control over speed. You can do it super slow or fast. And you can do combinations. You can do blending like this, which the other transition effects obviously don't offer you because they just are executed beginning to end. So I'll let your imagination run wild with what kind of scenarios you could use this in. Well, that's the T-bar, and that's what you would use it for. Then below that is a turn dial that you can also press, which is for menu navigation. Below that is the menu button, which gets you in and out of the menu. Then maybe, since we're dealing with menu navigation, let's jump over here. This is a little joystick that's actually used for PTZ camera control. You can choose the cam, up to 4 cams are possible. You can choose preset positions, you can zoom out or zoom in. And this is also used for menu navigation, as we're gonna see in part number 3. Then let's come up here, upstream and downstream. We got a Luma key, which you can use to do stuff like this. We got a Luma key, which you can use to do overlays like this. I'm gonna show you a different example later on with my own logo, but these are basically overlays that are upstream. Then we got a Chroma key. I'm gonna show you how to set that up later. It doesn't make sense to do that now, but just know we also have a Chroma key. Then we got picture in picture. I've set up those two as examples, and I'm gonna show you how to configure them and set them up. It's super easy, it's super versatile, really well done. Then we got downstream, the downstream key. Again, you could use it for overlays, and you can also use it, of course, for logos. Then user 1 and user 2 are user presets that you can use to basically configure everything that works for you in your scenario. Let me switch over here right now. This is useful if you're doing like 2 different or up to 6 different actually types of streams that require different configurations of the Stream1 a lot of times. So you can set them up once, and once you enter a different scenario that you already know the settings for, you can just save everything to a user preset and then call from there and have the thing pre-configured for different types of live streaming or multicam scenarios, which is super useful. Other devices that I've used also offer that, but none so far had at least 2 of the user buttons as manual controls. And hardware makes you fast, so I really appreciate that this function got 2 buttons. Very good, very good. Then let's come down here. You already know this. This is the selection for the program feed. All the selections you can do here, like which camera to show. 1, 2, 3, 4 correspond obviously to the HDMI inputs. We got auxiliary, which would be a video like this. Then pattern, again, is an image, a design that you can either source from the SD card or the SSD that's connected, the hard drive that's connected. This way. Right, or you can import stuff from SD card or hard drive to the internal storage of the Stream1 and source it from there. So that's pattern. Then we got still, which you can use to freeze frame the stream if something's happening that you really don't want people to see, and then push it again, and it's gonna go back to regular transmission. Then grabbing a still, that's super cool as well. You can just push that button, or like go like this, and grab a still, and you'll get confirmation on the multi-view within the menu. And this is just super useful if, well, for promotional material, just to capture some moments. Grabbing a still is very useful. Maybe for thumbnail design later on. Bunch of options that this comes in really handy for. So super cool that they have implemented this. Really, really like it. Where were we? Going back here. Well, since I just pushed that, this is transitioning. You can obviously cut, hard cut. You can execute the transition that you set up right here or set up in the menu and hit auto. It'll just execute on that. And then there's fade to black, FTB. Also set up how long this takes, the duration of the fade to black inside the menu. And I'm going to show you how to do this in part number 3. All right. Did I forget anything? I think we've basically covered the physical user interface. So now let's quickly go through all the inputs. So input number 1, that's actually an output, headphone output, 3.5 millimeter. Currently connected to that are my headphones. Then there's 2 mic inputs. Mic input number 1, currently connected to this on-camera mic that I'm using as a desktop mic. It's a 3.5 millimeter input. Then mic number 2, another input, 3.5 millimeter. You could also hook up wireless mics that have a 3.5 millimeter cable going from the receiver into the Stream1. So that's another option. Then HDMI number 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the program out, HDMI, everything is full size. The program out, full size HDMI out, currently connected to this little screen over here. Then we got the auxiliary HDMI out, also full size. As I've already mentioned, this goes out to the splitter and splits the multi-view to my monitor, 15-inch and my 7-inch for recording. Then we got USB in. Now this is where you could also hook up a webcam that can be recognized by the Stream1. In my case, I've hooked up my SSD. Can you see it? Yeah, right here. I've hooked up my SSD over USB. And then below that is actually the USB out. So the Stream1 can be recognized as a webcam itself. This I've connected to my laptop. Then over here is the network connection. And as far as that goes, if you're a network administrator, if you really know your way around configuring networks and how to make devices fully compliant with the compliance standards of a network, you can definitely hook this up to a router and configure everything. For most people, including myself, it's way easier to hook the Stream1 up to a device, in this case my laptop, that's already known and recognized within the network, so that has no compliancy and compatibility issues. It's just way easier to do that, especially if you work for clients and they have a network that's kind of fiddly. It's way easier to use one of their devices and just use the Stream1 as a webcam source over USB. So hooking it up directly, if you know what you're doing, if you're a network administrator and know your way around all the configurations, which for example, I kind of do, but also kind of don't, then you can definitely hook it up to a router directly. Me personally, and it would be my recommendation for most people, use this as a webcam signal over USB connected to a device that's already vetted and compatible with the network you're working on. In my experience, much less hassle this way. Then over here, that's the DC power connector. It's short, it's like 3 feet. I'm in my own little makeup studio right here. Made-up studio, in my own little studio right here. And it's almost too short for me. So definitely bring an extension cord for power. Don't forget it, because it's like literally this long. That's it, that's all you're getting. I get why they don't put a huge cable in there. Just something to remember to bring if you're working with a client at where they are. All right, I think that concludes all the inputs. Something else that I might mention right here, this is the, what do you say, the grill of the internal fans right here. Maybe some quick words on fan noise. This does have active fans. It needs active fans because it does a whole lot of workload and it still performs like a champ. You can hear them, all right. So if this is how you want to use that thing for yourself and you're sitting right in front of it and you're an audio purist, you might not like the fact that the fans are audible, but they are very much necessary. Then again, these days, every halfway decent NLE offers a little checkbox that says something like AI voice isolation. You just hit that and it'll completely take care of all the noise, which is really, it's not really noise, it's just audible. It will take care of the fan noise completely. No problem whatsoever. And of course, if you're just operating the live stream and there's people further away from the Stream1 that actually the stream is about or the multicam recording is about, no problem whatsoever. It is really quiet, it is audible, but in my book, it's no problem at all. And if in your book it is simple voice isolation, and it'll take care of it. Of course, in a live streaming scenario where actually you are the one sitting in front of the device and you still are an audio purist, you would have to maybe add some kind of audio device that has a live voice isolation tool, like the Mixpre 3.2 that I'm using. I could actually get a plugin where I could dial in noise isolation, voice isolation, and noise reduction, of course, live. So, yeah, so much for the fan noise. It's better than others. It's audible, but that's where I'm going to leave it. Now you know what the deal is. All right, and I think that concludes part number 2. So let's do a deep dive into the menu structure and the operation of the Stream1. And I'm going to switch to my multi-view recording right here because this is where you can see the menu. And I'm going to set up my multi-view like this. Yeah, that makes sense. So up here, top right quadrant, you can see how I'm actually navigating the menu. And bottom right quadrant, you can see the menu itself. So that should give you a good idea of what I'm doing and the effects that I'm having on the menu and the effects that configuration has on the overall performance of the Stream1. All right, so let's enter the menu and I'm pressing the menu button to do that. Before I do that, let's check out real quick the user interface. Before we enter the menu, you can see how long you've been recording, how much space is left on the SD card. You can, if you were to stream, you could see how long you've been streaming and at what bandwidth you're streaming. Then there's time, there's date, there's the images or the logos you've selected for logo placement. Then you can see all your individual audio sources represented in the menu. You can see what PTZ cam you're using, the speed that it's moving at, and you can see what transition and transition duration you've set up. Now, if you hit the menu button, bada boom, bada bang, we're going into the menu. Turn the turn dial to select the menu that you want to enter. We're going to start with transition and then press down to enter. Pressing down always gets you one level deeper into the submenus, and pressing the menu button moves you up through the submenus. As I've mentioned, there's a whole bunch of transitions for you to choose from. Let's go to, like, there's even 2 pages of transitions. Let's do a regular wipe from the left. Again, I can select the duration, 0.1 seconds all the way up to 5 seconds. 1 second suits me fine. Then the softness, this is something that only affects like graphical transitions. Softness doesn't do anything to like a cross dissolve, but a wipe that has a clean edge, like this one, you could also soften up. Let's go to 100 and then you see what it's actually doing. It's feathering this edge. So actually it's feathering if you are more familiar with that technical term. That's what meant by softness here. Let's go back to 10. Let's go to 11, of course. So let's feather it a little. Yeah. So it's like a bit, it's like almost like it has a bit of motion blur. Okay, then fade to black duration, 0.1 seconds to 2 seconds. 1 second actually I like. Then the dip source, you can dip to a color, which is what I've set up right now. You can also dip to any source, 1 through 4. You can even dip to the auxiliary, which in my case is a video right now. Let's hit play. So I can dip to a moving video, which is also a cool effect, depending on the video. And you can even dip to, a pattern. So an image, a graphic that you've imported. Now color is easy. Select the basic hue via the turn dial. Oh, sorry, I have to switch this. Select the basic hue via the turn dial. And then let's go for something tealish. We went the Gerald Undone route before. Yeah, let's go like here. Yeah, so select the main hue via the turn dial and then use the joystick to select your final color. It's not tealish enough. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, maybe a little darker. Yeah, like this. Press down to finalize. And now if we're hitting dip, we're dipping to that color. I'm going back to mix of 1 second, so I cross dissolve because that's what I like most. But that's basically how you navigate the transition menu. Coming to the audio menu. There's program out, which is master volume. You can mix it in. If you turn mix off, that kills all the audio. So be careful when doing that. You can add volume. No, you can add volume. You can actually just, if the signal comes into now you didn't hear me. You can reduce volume. I'm leaving this at 0. Yeah, there we go. Then inputs number 1, 2, 3, and 4 have another option. Again, mix, volume, and a delay. If you're running into problems there, you can select a delay. Then auxiliary, same thing, mix, volume, and delay. Mics, so mic inputs number 1 and 2. So the mics that you hook up directly to the Stream1. Mix, volume, delay, mode. And this is important. If you're hooking up a regular mic, it has mic levels. And if you select line level, you're not going to get any audio. And if you have a mixing board that gives you a line level signal and you've selected mic, you're not going to have any audio either. So make sure this is correct. And this is set up correctly. I have an on-camera mic selected right here in mic input number 1, so I definitely have to select mic. Then there's ALC, auto level control, 3 different levels. Yeah, auto level control only makes sense if you're in an environment that rapidly changes or that can change as far as the audio is concerned. For example, you could have mic number 2, so the slot right here, connected to a wireless mic that somebody carries that's moving through a variety of different audio scenarios, and you can't level that. You could, but it's a hassle. You can't really proficiently level that manually. So in that case, you would use audio level control. Maybe do a test run before you actually start the recording or the stream, and then select which level you want. This is basically how fast changes kick in, or how fast it recognizes changes and adapts the levels accordingly. So that is where you would use ALC. And then HP, that is headphones, that is monitoring. Most likely you're going to monitor the program out audio because this is what your audience is going to hear. But for troubleshooting, you can basically monitor all the mics, the auxiliary, and all the inputs separately. Makes most sense in most scenarios to monitor the program feed. So that's audio. And before we continue with the next menu, which would be image, let me show you how to switch in between audio sources, what difference good audio and bad audio can make, and how to turn on audio follows video. So, quick overview again. Shotgun mic, right here outside the top of the frame. Wireless mic to camera number 3. internal mics, camera number 2, and on desktop mic right here. So I'm now going to show you how to turn on and off audio sources. So currently, as we can see in the multi-view, the only audio that's on is program and audio number 1, which is a shotgun mic coming from camera number 1. Now to select an audio source, you basically just push the corresponding button. So I'm going to turn on all the audio sources, and it's going to sound terrible. So select channel number 2, then select what you want to do. I want to turn it on. It switches to on, confirm by pressing channel 2 again. And already you can hear the degradation of audio quality because now I'm mixing in audio number 2 of the top-down shot, which are just internal mics. They're bad as it is, and they are the farthest away from the audio source, which is me talking on top of that, so really terrible audio. Now let's turn on audio of input number 3, which is the wireless audio. Again, I've selected it, select on, it switches to on, I confirm, and that's how you turn on audio sources. Same thing goes for auxiliary, which is the video, mics number 1, 2, and even input number 4. Although input number 4 is my desktop and my laptop, which doesn't send audio. That's the way I've set it up. So let's use mic number 1 as well. Let's turn it on and confirm. And now I'm tapping the shotgun mic. I'm rubbing the camera up here. I'm tapping this one. And I'm caressing this one. So you know all the audio sources are turned on. That makes no sense whatsoever, and the first thing I'm going to kill is the terrible audio from camera number 2 real quick. So I'm selecting channel 2, I'm turning it off, already much better, and I'm confirming. Now let's turn off channel number 1 as well. And let's turn off mic number 1. You see how fast this is done. So this would be the audio of the wireless mic. Also decent audio. Not as good as a shotgun mic, but decent. Now let's move to mic number 1, which is the mic right here. And I'm turning off number 3. See how fast this is done. And now this, if you want the radio experience, this would be the way to do that, to really talk into the microphone up close. All right, then let's move back to mic number 1, channel 1, turn it on, and confirm, and turning off the mic 1. So now we're back to the shotgun mic. Now another useful feature is actually audio follows video. It's not useful in my scenario because I'm the only one talking, and basically throughout the whole multicam recording or stream, I want the best possible audio, which is my shotgun mic. So that's where I would usually leave it. Now for purposes of demonstration, I'm now going to set up audio follows video for the 3 decent audio sources, which is the shotgun mic, the desktop mic, and the wireless mic. Just to again hear the difference in audio quality, I'm going to set up audio follows video for all the freaking mics and then show you what that does. No, I can't do it with this one because I can switch to this one because this is video. I actually have to, because it's called audio follows video, use audio sources that come in with the HDMI, with the video. So the audio can follow the video. So we're going to have 2 great sources and 1 really terrible source. When would this be useful? If you're not talking yourself, for example, but if it's a multitude of people talking. Let's say you're doing a multicam recording of 4 interviewees, and each interviewee gets their own HDMI, so their own camera, and whenever the camera is on them, you want to clearly hear their audio because they're the ones talking. In this case, audio follows video is super useful. Or a good mix with everybody's mics being turned on at the same time. obviously. You can decide on that for yourself. So audio follows video, super simple. Let's say I want channel 1 to be audio follows video. I select it. Audio follows video, confirm. Same thing with channel number 3. Audio follows video, confirm. And now, as you can see, audio number 2 is currently live and I'm getting the terrible audio from video number 2. Now if I switch to number 1, it switches to the shotgun mic. And if I go to number 3, it switches to the wireless mic. And that is audio follows video. And that's how easy it is set up. Me personally, I'm going to go back to the shotgun mic. So I'm turning off channels number... I'm turning off channels number 2 and 3. First of all, mic number 1 is going back to always on. Mic number 2, off. Mic number 3, off. And now we're back to regular, great shotgun audio. Okay, this is how you set up audio sources, how you mix them together, or how you set up audio follows video. Let's go back into the menu and come to Image. Now you can source both pattern and the logos. So these are the logos, turn them on, and the pattern, which is this one. You can source all of that either locally from the SD card or from USB. Wait a second, I'm going like this. All right, so you can source both the pattern and the logos either locally, so from the internal storage of the Stream1, or from the SD card, or from USB. Now I'm currently recording to the SD card, so I can't source from the SD card now. So that would have had to happen before I started recording. But technically, before you record, before you stream, you can easily source, or before you record, you can easily source from the SD card or the USB. To switch between local SD and USB, you're pushing the little joystick right here. So as you can see, as far as the pattern is concerned, I have different screen grabs or stills grabs. Oops, enter, and there we go. And I have my logo, which I'm now going to set as the pattern. So I'm using the turn dial to navigate there. Press down, and now on the far right, you can see I can apply it, I can import it, or I can delete it. Now I want to apply it, and once I do this, you can see how the pattern changes from that design, that graphic, to my logo. Bada boom, bada bang, there we are. And that's how easy this is done. You can also import it. And have I already done that? Yeah. So locally, my logo doesn't exist. If I want to store it locally, I come to USB, I select the logo, and then I select import. Import finished. I come back to local, and there it is. Now I've sourced it, and it's available from the internal storage of the Stream1. That's how this works. Same thing with logo currently, because I'm super full of myself, I guess. I'm using my own logo again, but same thing. I can select this for logo position number 1 or 2. And I can select another one for position number 2. And this is basically how it goes. Me personally, I like my logo best. So I'm putting it in both places. Then a bit of logo configuration. You can set the size, 0.4 all the way to 1.4. 0.6 feels right to me. Personal preference, of course. And then for the positioning, you use the joystick. But this is not as sensitive as you would like it to be. So positioning the logo is a bit fiddly for sure. And especially if, as you can see right here, I'm trying to position it in exactly the same way. that is really a hassle. So this definitely has to be done before you start to record or stream. But that is basically how it's done. Confirm, and there we go. Same thing for logo number 2. Yeah, and that's the image part of the, let's turn this all off, the image part of the menu. Media, again, same as with graphics. You can source video locally. So there's already 3 videos stored on the Stream1 itself. You can source from the SD card, unless you're, like me, currently recording to the SD card. And you can source from USB. Same thing as with the images. You can import, you can source, you can play, delete. Basically works exactly the same way as before. Locally, I have 3 videos stored, and if now I'm switching in between the videos, you can see that I'm maneuvering via these buttons up here. And let's pause this for the time being. Now, playback. You can loop single, which means that a single video is gonna keep repeating. You can also loop the list, which in my case would mean it's gonna go through all 3 videos and then start at the front again. I'm choosing single because I wanna select the video to play via the buttons and then maybe have it loop, but only the single one. So I'm choosing single, yeah. Then record, bitrate, all the way up from 5 to 30. 30 obviously is the best. And SD card storage space is cheap, so definitely go for 30. It's just gonna give you the best quality. Then frame rate, personal preference. I like the fluid motion of 50 frames per second. You can go 24, 25, 30, or 60. Format, common container formats, although I'm not quite sure what TS is. MP4 and FLV I know. I stick to MP4, it's the most common one. Path, you can choose to record to the SD card first or the SSD. Once the SD card is full, it will switch to the SSD and vice versa. In my case, I opted to record to the SD card first. Then I can format the SD card, which I'm not doing right now. I can push streams, so I can basically select what bitrate my upstream is going to be, what frame rate, and I can turn on both streams, so I can push 2 signals, so people can actually connect to my stream within their stream. And I can pull streams, so for example, if you wanna, I don't know, live react to a sports event, a musical event, any type of event, another stream, a video that's currently live, you can also pull streams. And in this day and age, like everybody that's streaming online, most everybody, I would say, provides the keys for you to pull streams, the streaming keys. So you can also hook that up, that then would turn into the auxiliary input. Were we done with media? Wait. NDI, yeah, there we go. NDI is a network transfer protocol. Most likely, you're gonna have to buy a license to be able to use it. Some carriers, but outside Germany, already supply that, but it's rather rare. Most likely, you're gonna have to get a license, pay for it to be able to use it. And then there's the webcam, if webcams are found. If you did hook them up over USB, this is where you could well, configure them. Then server, and this is, I think, yeah, this is where the server you use to push your stream for others to use it. And you can do that twice. So people can access you from 2 servers. That's at least, if I'm confusing myself right here, I'm gonna show you in a blend right here. What I mean, but I think that's pretty much the servers that are used to push the stream that you're doing. Okay, yeah, that's the media. menu, let's move on to picture in picture. And let's turn these on real quick. So you select the source. I've selected input number 3. Then you select a size and positioning. I have opted for custom. With custom, you use the turn dial to select the width. And you use the turn dial to select the height. And then as far as the crop is concerned, you use the joystick and can see it in input number 3. You can select what part of the image actually shows up in the area that you've defined. Super versatile, pretty cool, really like that. Picture in picture number 2, again, select the source, select size and positioning. In this case, I used a preset, 1/3. Oops. And then for custom width and height, I can not do anything right here because I've selected a preset. And then again, for cropping, move the joystick to select what actually shows up inside the area that you've defined. There we go. Picture in picture border, pretty self-explanatory. Via the turn dial, select the basic hue. Via the joystick, dial it in. Let's go Gerald undone. And then border width, self-explanatory. Then meeting is a super cool function. Let's turn off the picture in pictures. So if you do a live reaction video with some of your friends, for example, you can turn this on. And it's going to give you all your video inputs. Let's say these were all A shots of people that you're doing the reaction video with. So you could show up and the program feed would then be, let's put it to auxiliary. Let's say you're reacting to a video. And yeah, this is how you would set that up. The auxiliary obviously could be some kind of event or even a stream that's going on right now. You have different modes. Mode number 1, mode number 2, 3, and 4. Super awesome. Haven't had the chance to use this yet, but it is super cool for sure. Hopefully in the future I will have the option, the opportunity, to do that for a client, because it looks super cool. Really like that option, and haven't seen that yet in too many other devices. All right, that's picture in picture, Luma Key. Now, this is used for overlays like this. A Luma Key is basically used for, well, making the bright parts of an image transparent and showing something underneath. Now, what actually constitutes bright, you can dial in by a threshold and gain. But in this case, my logo, it's a black and white image, so it's perfect to be used for overlays like this. I leave it to your imagination to come up with scenarios where you could use this in a cool way. But that's usually how a chroma key is used. The bright parts of an image are made transparent to generate the desired effect, let's say. Then let's move, wait a second. Let's move to the chroma key, and this is a bit fiddly. Let's turn it on, and let's resort to something super unprofessional to show you how this works. All right, as you can see, it is already working. For chroma key, let's come right here. So for the chroma key, you select the input source. The input source is the one that has the green material that you want to key, that you want to make transparent. In this case, it's input number 1, because this is the main shot where you can see me wearing, let's turn it off for a moment, where you can see me wearing the green. Wait, what am I trying to do here? Yeah, this is where you can see me wearing the green fabric. Now, the first thing you would do is turn chroma key on to see the effects. And then select your source, which is in my case input number 1. Then select the color. And the easiest way is to pick the color. Once I hit that, you can use the joystick. Check out input number 1. You can use the joystick to place the little rectangle on the color that you want to key. Confirm. And then to fine tune it, you can move into similarity. Right, fine tune it a little. You can even smoothen the whole thing. Yeah, similarity and smoothing is for fine tuning. And you can even mask the whole freaking thing. Now, again, I'll leave it to you to decide when to use that. Now, the more even the lighting on the fabric is, the better this will work. But even with wrinkles, well, it's not a bad result. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either. So, a chroma key lets you key a color and make it transparent. Now, there's one thing that's important here. Wait, I have to use it again to show you this. Listen to this carefully because it's a bit counterintuitive. So as I said, chroma key works with two sources. There is a top source that has the green fabric, and then there is a bottom source that shows up when that green fabric is made transparent. So there's a top source, which is called the key, and a bottom source, which is called the fill. Now, if you look at wait, I have to turn this off. Yeah, if you look at this layout, you would assume that the selection for the program feed is the top, and the selection for the preview is the fill. So this would be the source and this would be the fill. But it's exactly the other way round. Wait a second, turning it on. Yeah, it's exactly the other way round. You use the input for the program out as the fill, so that which is underneath. Catch my drift? It's exactly the other way around. It's counterintuitive. You choose that which is underneath using the input of the program input, and you choose that which is on top with the preview. That's counterintuitive, but that's how it works. I hope I have successfully confused everybody. Keying is a bit fiddly. Once you get the hang of it, it works easily. But until then, you might run into some problems. Practice is key, dear people. Okay, that's the chroma key. Now that we got the downstream key, used for overlays like this. Again, select the key source, select the threshold, what's actually considered white or black. Gain, same thing. You can inverse it, and you can even mask it. Next up, PTZ camera control, which again, unfortunately, I can't show you. I'm going to show you the menu, but it's of not much use. Select the cam. You can hook up to 4 cams. You can search for the cams, see the cam IP, the speed at which they move, do focusing if they actually have autofocus, set the exposure, set the white balance. Cool stuff that I can't freaking show you. Then port, super awesome. View. Now, multi-view can be set to horizontal and vertical, as well as the stream view. Why is that super awesome? If you're doing a regular live stream and regular multicam recording with 16:9 cameras, you're golden. But as soon as you're streaming to social media that's vertical, this screen will turn upside down because your cameras are turned vertical, but the layout usually doesn't flow with a vertical orientation. Now, in this case, you can simply switch. And that is super, super useful. And I haven't seen that implemented this easily with many other devices. Just one, actually. Same thing for stream view. Super cool. Outsource, again, you can configure the signal that is output through the PGM out and the auxiliary HDMI out, which is by default multi-view. But you can choose basically whatever the fuck you want. Sorry. Choose whatever you want from all the inputs that your heart desires. All right, then out format. So what frame rate do these two HDMI ports output? You can choose between a whole lot of them, even interleaved. And then this is super useful for people like me that rig cameras in weird places. An image flip option. You can simply flip the image horizontally, vertically, or both. And this is especially useful if you rig a camera in weird places and the image is upside down, for example, which often happens with top-down shots. There are options. You could rig the camera differently, which is a hassle. You could use downstream software to flip the image, which is also a hassle. The easiest way possible is to just do it upstream, so inside the freaking Stream1, inside the device itself. And I'm super happy that you can basically flip all the inputs. Inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, and auxiliary. So all the video inputs can be flipped, which is awesome and such a help. You might not need it a lot, but when you need it, you're going to be very happy that this option exists. Then user settings, I've already mentioned those. You can save everything you've set up to a user setting. You got 6 different ones, and number 1 and 2 also correspond with the physical buttons right here. You can call, save, you can set up macros for run, record, and loop, and super useful. Super useful if you're continuously running into the same multicam or live streaming scenarios. You might as well configure them once and just save them to a user preset and then call on it whenever you need it. Then setting, system, well, language, fan speed, daytime. Daytime, if you're working with networks that have high compliance standards, definitely set a correct date and time. I had to learn the hard way that this can be really troublesome if you don't set it, because who cares for date and time? Well, some networks do care, and they will not allow anything to work within them that does not have a correct date and time setting. So if you're running into trouble and you have no idea what the hell is going on, this might be it. I can reset everything. Network, I'll leave this to your network administrators. You can calibrate the joystick. This is where you would activate your NDI license, and you can check out what version you're running on the Stream1. And that concludes the menu. And on top of that concludes part number 3. Now, we've been running for over an hour, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly with part number 4. I'm quickly going to show you how to use this as a webcam, which is really super simple. All you have to do is hook up the USB connection to the device that you want to use to stream, and that's it. It's automatically recognized as a webcam, as a video feed that you can use for YouTube, for your favorite streaming platforms. It'll just be recognized like a regular webcam, and it'll work flawlessly. Now, if you're into OBS, which is something that I really like, I connect everything to OBS because it's very versatile. Even my YouTube streaming key, or when I'm streaming for other people, I always go through OBS because the functionality is just great. The configurability is great. So let me go to my laptop and show you super quick how this is set up. It's super easy. So switching to input number 4, entering my code and coming to, there we go, OBS. Now super simple, add a scene. Let's call it CineTreak Stream 1. Now we got the scene. Then let's add video, which is a video capture device right here. Let's call it Stream1 video. There we go. Selecting USB streaming. Obviously, I've selected my own desktop as the input, so I can show you all of this. That's why it looks like this. Usually this would be just a regular camera signal. Definitely select USB streaming. That's the one you have to select. And then let's add the audio source, audio input capture. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's call it Stream1 audio. Hit OK. And again, select USB streaming or digital audio interface. And there we go. We got Stream1 audio right here, and we got a Stream1 video right there. And now you can start recording. And that's how easy it is to set this thing up, and you're good to go. All right. We're in 1 hour and 6 minutes right now, maybe even a little bit shorter, but we're over an hour, so this is where I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you liked the video. I hope you got a good idea of what this thing can do, of what it can't do. No SDI, no isolated recordings. That's the main two things that you might want in a device that this one doesn't have. Apart from that, it's a workhorse. It's easy to set up. I know it's a lot to take in. And if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to take you some time. But I can tell you from my experience, having set up these devices and many different devices over time, this one just works. It's a workhorse. It's going to deliver. I haven't run into any glitches or problems yet. Yeah, it just basically works. And considering all the workload it deals with, the fan noise, in my opinion, is very tolerable. All right, so that concludes all the 4 parts. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. It is greatly appreciated. Any kind of comment or feedback is welcome, and I will try to answer as quickly as possible. Although that might be some time now during the holidays. In any case, if you like content like this in general, consider subscribing. And definitely thank you for your time. Thank you so much for sticking with it. And hopefully, see you again soon.